I'll end with I'll do some Naseehah now, and then if there's a few minutes left, you can do your exercise, inshallah. So, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, wa salatu wa salam, Rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi man wala. In the last lesson, what did we speak about? Ala wa inna fil jasadi mudghah. Remember? Ala wa inna fil jasadi mudghah. Behold, verily in the body there is a mudghah, there is a piece of flesh. إذا صلحت, if it becomes sound, صلح الجسد كله, then the entire being becomes sound. وإذا فسدت, and if it becomes corrupt, the entire being becomes corrupt. ألا وهي القلب. Behold, it is the heart. I want to maybe just emphasize again, what do I mean by the heart? I'll give you an example. I'll give you an example. An example is, your mind knows that if you're lying in bed and you're nice and tired and warm and comfortable, your mind knows that if you hear the Fajr Adhan, what's your body supposed to do? Go back to sleep. Put in your earplugs. No. Your mind knows, like when I say your mind, your logic knows that I'm a believer. When the Adhan calls for prayer, I must go pray. You with me? So your mind knows what's right and wrong. It's not news to you what's right and wrong. You, especially the brothers, you've been to maybe how many Jummas already? You're a Jummah Mufti. You've been to 1,000 Jummas, you heard all the stuff already. Your mind knows basically, mashallah, you've been to madrasa, you know what's right and wrong. But whether you choose right or choose wrong, it's not an intellectual exercise. It's actually to do with the state of your heart. So there are people whose mind knows what is right and wrong, and their hearts are pure, and their hearts are illuminated, and their hearts are soft. So when it's time to do the right thing, they do the right thing. Because their hearts are illuminated by Allah. Their hearts are guided. They have taqwa in their quloob. You with me? And there are us, many of us, we are struggling. That sometimes when the right thing comes, we do it, and sometimes we don't do it, depending on the state of our heart. And there are people who are completely closed, completely sealed. Don't even talk to them about the right thing. Don't even talk to them about a Lord, a God. Don't even talk to them about a Sharia, a way to live your life. They are in complete rebellion against that. No one tells me how to live my life. I will live my life. The heart are completely sealed. So this is the state of our heart. I want to emphasize this because don't forget about the journey of the heart. With all our bombardment of information, we forget about the transformation of the heart. That if the information just resides here, no matter how much Quran, Hadith, Nahu, Sarf, translation you know, there's no impact. It has to descend into the heart. Therefore, Imam Malik was famously said that لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِكَثْرَةِ الرِّوَايَاتِ. That ilm, knowledge, is not lots of riwayat, able to narrate lots of things. وَلَكِنَّ الْعِلْمَ ilm is nurun, that Allah placed in the heart of a believer. That true knowledge is nur, which Allah places in the heart of a believer. So again, I remind us, there's an assault on the heart. Your heart's being attacked from all directions. There's someone in your heart sitting here, not in your heart, in your chest, sitting here. He's called what? Al-Waswasul Khannas. The one who's Al-Waswas. He keeps whispering to you. Al-Khannas. He comes back and he goes and he comes back and he goes all the time, continuously whispering to you. Al-Khannas. This is happening in your heart. Happening in your heart. So the success of us is actually the success of our hearts. And if you don't deal with that question in your life, you're not dealing with your life. You with me? If you're working out your physical body, you're not dealing with, that's fine, you can work out your physical body, but you have to work out your spiritual body. You can work out your mental body, you can get a degree in university and study courses, and all of those are good. But if you're not working on your heart, you're actually missing the essence of life. And normally back in the day, people used to live with their shuyukh. Talking about now hundreds of years ago or 200 years ago, they used to live with their shuyukh, not so much to learn knowledge and, yes, mostly a lot to learn knowledge, but they had shuyukh of tarbiyah, who used to be the shuyukh of their hearts. So in Islam, you actually have two teachers. Every believer should actually have two teachers. That can be in one person or two people, but you should have a shaykhul ilm, a person who teaches you knowledge about Islam, about your life, about Quran, about Hadith, and you should have a shaykhul tarbiyah, a person who takes you and makes tarbiyah of your heart. You with me? Sometimes those two can be one person, but sometimes they're two separate people. If you can't find a shaykhul tarbiyah, at least be in good company of people who have good tarbiyah. You with me? At least be in good company, so that good company can teach us how to fashion ourselves. Because good tarbiyah actually comes from the heart. May Allah give us good tarbiyah. Akhlaq, beautiful character, it emanates from the heart. Next thing I want to discuss is the ruh. Why I'm discussing this is because once you understand yourself, who I am, it's much easier to navigate your space in the world. So Allah says in the A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rabbuka lil malaikati. And when your Lord said to the malaika, to the angels, Allah gives you a scene from the beginning of time. A scene from the beginning of time. And this scene is not a speculative scene. It's not a maybe scene. It's a definite scene. Because it comes from the only one who has definite knowledge, which is Allah. And He tells you about the past. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي verily I, Allah, خَالِقٌ بَشَرًا مِنْ صَلْصَالٍ مِنْ حَمَئٍ مَسْنُونٍ. Verily I am going to make a bashar, a person, from some clay that is from mud which has been standing for a long time. Some mud which has been standing for a long time. Like from clay. Then Allah says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ, and He's speaking to who? The malaika. Allah says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ, then when I have fashioned this being, وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ. Can you see نَفَخْتُ? Like فَعَلْتُ. What does فَعَلْتُ mean? فَعَلْتُ, what does it mean? I did. So what does نَفَخْتُ mean? Nafakha means to blow. Allah is telling the angels, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ, when I have fashioned this being, I have formed this being, this human being, وَنَفَخْتُ, and I have blown فِيهِ, into this being, مِنْ رُوحِي, from a spirit of mine, from a ruh of mine. فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَاجِدِينَ. Then all of you angels, when I do that, you angels, you must fall down to this human being, and you must fall down in prostration. A prostration of respect and honor, not of worship, because we only prostrate to Allah for worship. What's Allah speaking about? The creation of man, the creation of Nabi Adam. Can you reflect on how close intimate those words are? Allah is saying, I'm going to fashion him. Then I'm going to nafakhtu fihi min ruhi, I'm going to blow in him from a ruh of mine. So if you think about your own breath, if you blow, your breath is the closest thing to you, but it's not you. You with me? So we don't say there's a part of Allah Nabi Adam, but there's something close which Allah created. Like your breath is very close to you. It's not you though. And Allah blows this thing into Nabi Adam. This thing is called a ruh. And when does Allah tell the angels to prostrate? Only after the ruh is blown in. So therefore your honor as a human being is not because of your physical body. It's not because of your physical senses. It's not because of your rational ability. Your honor as a human being, the only reason you are deemed a human being and superior to all other creation is because you have a ruh. And now to think about the ruh. Where did the body come from in this ayah? Allah took some mud that has been standing and some clay and He mixed it and He made it. So your body is from the earth. But where's the ruh from? It's from Allah. It's not from this world. So it's a strange thing, human beings, because you are partly from this world and you are partly not from this world. Part of you is from clay and part of you is ruh. And the more important part is the ruh. Because animals also from clay. Clay is from clay. فَسَجْدَ الْمَلَائِكَةُ كُلُّهُمْ أَجْمَعُونَ. And then the angels all fell prostrate except Iblis. Okay. I want to mention this why? Because I want to emphasize that all of you, when did you receive your, Nabi Adam got his ruh like that? When did you get your ruh? When you were conceived, you had no ruh. You were just a little clot. When did you get your ruh? When did you get your ruh? There's some difference in the Mufassirun, some say 40 days and some say 120 days. There's some ikhtilaf. But after a number of days, an angel comes down. Allah sends an angel, happens to all of you. Allah sends an angel, and the angel comes down and actually brings your ruh and goes into the womb of the mother and inserts a ruh into that being. Comes in hadith, authentic hadith. So what's profound? You're born from conception of normal human beings, human means. But your ruh is something which is out of this world. It's brought down from a realm, out of this realm, and it's placed inside you. And then you are actually a human being when the ruh comes down. So what do we have now? We have the clay culture. The clay culture. You see the clay culture? You see the clay culture? Clay culture like this, all day. People have become obsessed with the clay beings. They have defined their life by their clay. And the thing about clay is that clay is sustained from things from clay. Clay, your clay being, wants food. Where does the food come from? From the ground. Your clay being wants some bricks and some metal and shape the metal. Where does the metal come from? Where does the bricks come from? From the ground. Whatever your clay being wants comes from clay. But your ruh being can never be sustained from clay. Because your ruh doesn't come from this world and will only be sustained from things out of this world. Like what? The remembrance of the one that is beyond this world. The recitation of the one whose book is sent from beyond this world. This is how your being, your ruh is sustained. So we have a culture now where the clay is being fed and the ruh is being starved. The clay is being fed and fed and fed and fed. The clay is so fed it's filled up. Filled up. And no matter how much you fill it wants more and more and more. More and more and more. And the ruh is being starved. And I fear that we as believers, we buy into this narrative. We also want to now be a clay being and show how successful clay we are. What's that about? Who cares? Why is it so important to see what you had for supper? Why must I see what you had for supper? Eat your food. You're not going to show me after supper what happened. Why are you showing me before supper? What's wrong? It's become such an insanity now. We even like taking a photo of our food because you want to show off your clay. Muslims need to liberate their minds from these things. Just because a whole social culture and trend is happening, we don't buy into that narrative. We buy into the narrative that your iman comes first, that your akhlaq comes first, that the state of your heart comes first. That is your being connected to Allah, is your being in the service of Allah's creation. You with me? That's our standard. If you want to put something on Instagram or Facebook, show how much you are worshipping Allah and how much you are serving Allah's creation to make da'wah. That is what you're going to spread. That's the way of the believer. We're not going to perpetuate a myth and perpetuate an illusion and delusion. Never. So part of this journey is at liberation. Because in the end you stand before Allah. And you stand before Allah literally naked. Literally naked. The hadith says that men will, and then women will be barefoot, even uncircumcised. Standing before Allah naked, nothing. All you have is your actions. All that clay that you had is stripped away. Gone. And you just stand before Allah with your actions. And Allah looks at you, Allah says, what did you do with your life? So rather answer that question now than waste your life and wake up in your deathbed and then want to go make tawbah and then stand before Allah and say, Ya Allah, I wasted my life. Last thing I want to say about this is that we are actually beings of honor. People have all the self-esteem issues, people don't value themselves. You are beings of honor in Allah's eyes. Because Allah chose you to give a ruh to. And you're such an honored being that Allah told malaika to prostrate to your father Adam. In the eyes of Allah, Allah created the entire world for your service. Everything in this world is created to serve you. The animals serve you, the plants serve you, this entire dunya is there to serve you. This is your honor in the sight of Allah, in the eyes of Allah. We have to become an ummah who have honor and dignity. Must have honor and dignity. I am an honored being in front of you, Allah. That's our ummah. Because honor and dignity is something which is being lost completely. Baseness is becoming the norm. People are becoming proud to be dishonorable. It's becoming the norm. We are beings of honor. So some reflection this week, inshallah. Also with the kids, also spread this message. Your children have to know inside of them they have two hearts. Tell your children they have two hearts. My child, my son, my daughter, you have a heart which is beating in your heart and you have a spiritual heart. Teach your children about this. From young, from 3, 4 years old, 2 years old, they must know about their spiritual heart. And when your child sits next to you, even if they're 4 years old, they're making salah, you praise them and say that your spiritual heart is beaming. When they share something with their sister or their brother, your spiritual heart is being illuminated by Allah. When you do something wrong, you're getting some dust on your heart, do something good to cleanse your heart. Give your children a spiritual education from young already. From young already. And your ruh also. Tell your children not from this world. That they are children of Jannah. They come from Jannah, the ruh comes from Jannah and they're going to return to Jannah. Jannah is their true home. Tell them from 2, 3 years old, inshallah. May Allah give us pure hearts. Ameen. May Allah guide our hearts. Allahu. Ameen. Alhamdulillah, the nikah has arrived, so you're on time for break. So break, inshallah, we'll come back at hopefully 10:30. But if I could ask all the females to please go on break, because they're having the nikah. Yeah, inshallah, we'll be back at 10:30. Barakallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.